take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Side effect, we've got a cure. Another script to make it pure. Read the label, small print chat. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Bit for sleep, bit for stress, bit to clean up the mess. One runs fast, one runs flat. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Doctor said just try a few. Now there's 10 instead of 2. Morning pack, nighttime stack. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. If you feel weird, that's okay. There's another one on the way. Balance out the chemical spat. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. This for that and that for this. Round we go in a medic twist. Fix the fix that fix the crack. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. This does this and that does that. Whole thing's held by a warning patch. Symptom loop we can unpack. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Bit for sleep, bit for stress, bit to clean up the mess. One runs fast, one runs flat. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that.
Imagine for a second, right, taking a pill to fix a persistent, just blinding headache.
Oh yeah, the kind you just cannot ignore.
Exactly. But you realize that this pill comes with this invisible, ironclad contract.
Sounds ominous.
It is. Like, it will cure your head, absolutely, but it is guaranteed to wreck your stomach.
Right, a total trade-off.
Now imagine having to sign that exact same kind of contract, trading one bodily function for another like 10 times before you even eat breakfast.
I mean, that sounds exhausting.
It really is. So, welcome to the deep dive. We are doing something a little unconventional today for you guys.
Yeah, we're stepping away from the clinical trials and the usual medical journals.
Right. Instead, we're looking at this highly evocative, really rhythmic spoken word audio excerpt.
It's titled, Take a Bit for That .m3.
And our mission today is to decode the language of what this text calls the symptom loop.
Which is this hypnotic, almost suffocating narrative of treating our biological symptoms with, well, just more symptoms.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the very first thing that hits you when you listen to this isn't the lyrical content at all.
No, not at all. It's the sound itself.
Right, it's the rhythm. It mimics a ticking clock or, I don't know, maybe a heartbeat that just keeps accelerating.
Until you, as the listener, start to feel this palpable secondhand anxiety.
Yeah, it really gets under your skin.
Well, the form completely matches the function here. The creator is using these repetitive, overlapping audio loops to sonically trap you.
In the exact same way the narrator is trapped in their prescription cycle?
Exactly. It's an auditory mirror of polypharmacy. You aren't just hearing about the medical loop, you are actually experiencing the claustrophobia of it.
That is so true. And the opening lines of the text establish the brutal rules of this biological universe immediately.
They do not hold back.
No. The narrator says this for that and that for this. Little white pill on a risk for risk.
That risk for risk line really sets the stage.
It really does. There is no illusion here of a magical consequence-free cure.
None whatsoever.
The text explicitly tells us, fix one thing, break it back. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that side effect.
Yeah, it frames the side effect not as some rare, unfortunate accident that happens to 1 in a million people.
Right.
It frames it as an unavoidable package deal.
It makes me think of playing a high-stakes, just deeply frustrating game of whack-a-mole.
Oh, that is an incredibly apt way to visualize the biological mechanism at play here.
Really? Because it feels so chaotic.
Well, it is, because when we take a medication, we often imagine it acting like a laser beam,
Yeah.
right? targeting only the bad cell or the specific pain receptor.
But pharmacology is systemic.
Exactly. You introduce a chemical, and it cascades through your entire physiology.
So you have a problem, say, joint pain. That's your first mole.
Right.
You take a pill, you whack the mole, the pain subsides. But because that chemical just washed over your entire gastric system, a new mole pops up.
And now you have severe acid reflux.
Exactly. So you need a new mallet, a new pill to whack the stomach mole.
And that stomach pill disrupts your nutrient absorption, so a new mole pops up for lethargy.
You are never actually clearing the board. You are just frantically swinging at whatever new symptom emerges.
While being fully aware that the swing itself is what causes the next mole to appear.
Wow. Yeah.
What's fascinating here is the psychological weight of the author's phrasing. They call it a risk for risk.
Taking that little white pill is presented as a conscious, calculated gamble.
Yes. You are actively bartering with your own physiology. You're trading a current vulnerability for a future complication.
And notice how they use the word bit. Take a bit of this, take a bit of that side effect.
It sounds so harmless, doesn't it?
It does, just a bit. I mean, it completely minimizes the danger of what you're actually doing.
Well, that minimization is a survival mechanism.
How do you mean?
If you viewed every pill as a massive systemic disruption, you'd be paralyzed with fear. You wouldn't take anything.
So the narrator shrinks it down to a bit.
Right. But those bits compound biochemically. The liver still has to process every single bit.
The kidneys have to filter them out.
Exactly. The text is illustrating a fundamental shift. The narrator is no longer just treating an illness.
They're managing a complex, ever-expanding bartering system within their own internal organs. And if you are constantly trading a risk for a risk, the sheer mathematics of those trades will eventually catch up with you.
It always does.
That brings us to the physical escalation of this routine, because a risk for risk inevitably multiplies the number of little white pills on the counter.
Oh, absolutely.
The narrator says, doctor said, just try a few. Now there's 10 in. Instead of 2 morning pack, nighttime stack.
We go from this casual, almost dismissive suggestion to try a few straight into a massive, overwhelming physical inventory.
It's a huge leap.
It is. And the medical community actually has a term for this specific escalation. It's called an iatrogenic cascade.
Iatrogenic cascade. Okay.
Right. Iatrogenesis refers to an illness or symptom that is caused by a medical examination or treatment.
So the cure becomes the cause?
Exactly. You take a drug for condition A, it causes condition B. The doctor prescribes a drug for condition B, which triggers condition C.
And suddenly you have a morning pack and a nighttime stack, just to keep your baseline bodily functions operating.
Yep. The text even lists the utilities of this inventory. It says, bit for sleep, bit for stress, bit to clean up the mess.
I want to focus on that phrase for a second. Clean up the mess.
It's a heavy phrase.
It is. The narrator mentions the doctor saying, just try a few. So is the text implying the narrator is a victim of reckless medical advice?
Like a doctor just blindly handed out pills without warning them.
Yeah, without warning them of the cascade? Or is this mess they're cleaning up simply the unavoidable reality of human biology breaking down?
And the doctor was just doing their best with the tools available.
Which one is it?
That tension is arguably the central conflict of modern symptom management.
Okay.
The casual nature of just try a few definitely implies a systemic failure to communicate the long-term reality of polypharmacy to the patient.
For sure.
But Clean Up the Mess speaks to something deeper than just bad advice. It describes an internal ecosystem that has lost its ability to self-regulate.
Because it's too overloaded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you introduce 10 different synthetic signals into the human body, the body stops trying to balance itself.
It just waits for the chemicals to do the work.
Yes. The mess is the chaotic biological tangle that remains when your natural regulatory systems essentially go on strike.
And forcing those systems to work synthetically sounds exhausting.
Oh, it's a massive drain on the body.
The text highlights the intensely contradictory nature of these medications, too. It says one runs fast, one runs flat.
You aren't a person just trying to get through a tough week anymore.
Right. You have been transformed into a biological machine requiring a literal morning pack to crank the engine and a nighttime stack to force the shutdown sequence.
The narrator is essentially yanking the steering wheel of their central nervous system back and forth.
One runs fast like a stimulant to counteract the grogginess from last night's sleep aid.
And one runs flat a depressant to bring down the heart rate spiked by the morning stimulant.
You are literally fighting your own synthetic intervention.
Okay.
But if you are constantly yanking the steering wheel left and right all day, every day, how do you even know what driving straight feels like anymore?
You don't. You lose your baseline completely.
The source material actually dives straight into this psychological impact. How does a person cope with the daily reality of the nighttime stack?
Well, they cope by completely normalizing the chaos.
Right. There is a phrase in here that completely recontextualizes this dynamic for me.
Which one?
The narrator says, if you feel weird, that's okay. There's another one on the way. Balance out the chemical spin.
And we can assume spin means spill or spin.
Yeah, both words imply a sudden, dangerous loss of control that requires an immediate hazmat-level intervention.
Right.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's the next line that really gets me. Now we go in a medic twist. Fix the crack.
Fix that.
Yes. That concept is the perfect distillation of modern tech culture applied to human biology.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Think about endless software updates on your smartphone, right? You download a patch to fix a bug in your operating system.
And great, the bug is gone.
But the patch is poorly optimized, and now it creates a new glitch where your battery drains in 45 minutes.
So the developers have to scramble to write a new patch to fix the battery drain caused by the first patch.
Exactly. And then that second patch ends up corrupting your Wi-Fi connection.
It's endless.
You are trapped in a cycle of downloading updates just to mitigate the damage caused by the previous update. You are constantly fixing the fix.
But applying that to the human body is terrifying.
It is beyond terrifying.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the biological concept of homeostasis.
The body's natural desire to maintain a stable internal environment.
Exactly. Your software analogy perfectly explained the chilling resignation in the line. If you feel weird, that's okay.
Because in a functioning biological system, feeling weird is not okay.
No, whether that's dizziness, numbness, or a sudden spike in heart rate, that is your body's alarm system.
It is an evolutionary red light flashing, telling you to stop because something is fundamentally wrong.
Right. Like if I suddenly feel dizzy right now, my instinct isn't to say, oh, that's okay.
My instinct is to figure out the root cause. Did I not drink enough water? Am I sick?
But the narrator has completely bypassed that natural alarm system.
The text illustrates a total, terrifying surrender to what it calls the medic twist.
In this artificially maintained reality, feeling weird is no longer a warning sign of a problem.
It has been downgraded to a simple notification bell.
It's just a cue that the next chemical delivery is required. There's another one on the way.
Wow. The narrator has accepted a state of permanent physiological instability as their normal baseline.
The fire alarm is just the dinner bell for the next pill.
You aren't actually healing anything at that point. You are just perpetually mopping up a chemical spill in your own bloodstream.
And the rhythm of the spoken word piece really sells this.
It does. When the narrator says fix that, they don't sound panicked at all.
No, they sound incredibly resigned.
It sounds like someone working on a factory assembly line who has just surrendered to the repetitive, mindless motion of the machine.
It's the sound of someone who has stopped trying to cure the illness and has accepted a full-time job managing their side effects.
Which brings us to the structural integrity of this entire bizarre medical architecture.
Right, how does this not all fall apart?
We've seen the initial trade-off, we've watched the escalation from 2 pills to 10, and we've explored the psychological normalization of feeling weird.
So now we have to look at how this whole thing stays standing.
Because the climax of this audio excerpt paints a picture of a deeply fragile equilibrium.
The visual imagery shifts significantly at the end. The text says, whole things held by a warning patch. Symptom loop. We can unpack.
And right as those words are spoken, the audio itself begins to audibly degrade.
It starts skipping and looping on the word heat. It stutters heat. Heat. And back this round, we go in a medic twist.
The breakdown of the audio track mirrors the breakdown of the physical body.
It feels incredibly unstable.
It feels like watching a towering, completely unstable game of Jenga.
Oh, perfect analogy.
Right. If you picture getting to the very end of a Jenga game, the tower is swaying.
All the solid foundational blocks from the bottom have been pulled out.
And they're jammed precariously on top of each other. That top-heavy swaying structure is the morning pack, nighttime stack.
And the entire heavy chemical weight of it is resting on one single tiny block at the very bottom.
That's the warning patch.
A structure built entirely on tension.
So what does this all mean? I mean, one wrong pull, one missed pill, one slightly miscalculated dosage on a Tuesday morning.
And the entire chemical balance comes crashing down.
Because none of those pills are actually supporting the body's natural foundation anymore.
They're only supporting each other.
The stimulant holds up the depressant The sleep aid holds up the stress pill.
This raises an important question, which reveals the core thesis of the entire piece.
What's that?
Think about what is glaringly absent from this entire narrative.
An actual cure.
Exactly. There is no exit strategy provided in the text.
The narrator does briefly mention the word cure, though. They say, we've got a cure, another script to make it pure.
But it is dripping with irony.
Oh, completely.
Because it's immediately followed by the line, read the label, small print chat.
The supposed cure is revealed to be just another prescription.
Bundled with more small print, more side effects, more risks for risks.
The piece ultimately strips away the illusion that this specific approach to medicine is about healing.
It is solely about the eternal maintenance of the loop itself, the symptom loop.
You've completely lost sight of winning the game.
You're just dedicating all your energy to keeping the game going so you don't immediately lose.
The system is entirely closed. The audio loops, this and back, this round we go, back to the whole thing's held by a warning patch.
It ends right where it began.
The listener is trapped in the repetition, feeling the exact claustrophobia of a life where the medicine's only job is to manage the other medicine.
It forces you to confront the reality of iatrogenesis without ever using the actual medical terminology.
It really makes you feel the weight of that nighttime stack.
So true.
Let's take a breath and zoom out from the text for a minute.
Good idea.
We've taken a pretty intense journey through this Take a Bit for That source material today.
We really have.
We started by examining the initial deceptively harmless gamble trading, a risk for a risk, a symptom for a side effect.
We explored the biological cascade that takes a person from a doctor saying, just try a few, to a highly industrialized routine of 10 pills.
Violently yanking the nervous system between running fast and running flat.
We analyzed the psychological surrender required to survive that routine, too.
Right, the medic twist.
Where feeling physically unwell is no longer a warning sign, but just an accepted part of a daily chemical spill.
And finally, we looked at the terrifying fragility of that Jenga tower, precariously held together by a warning patch.
Forever trapped in a rhythmic, inescapable symptom loop of this for that and that for this.
It is a phenomenal, albeit pretty unsettling mirror to hold up to the way we approach problem solving in modern life.
And for you listening, it's really worth taking a moment to reflect on how this applies outside the pharmacy.
Because it does. We've been talking specifically about medical prescriptions today because that is the literal text of the source material.
But the medic twist is a behavioral pattern that bleeds into almost everything we do.
Think about how quickly a simple attempt to fix one thing can escalate into a complex, unmanageable loop in your own daily routines.
It's the human condition to try and hack our way out of discomfort.
We are obsessed with the quick fix.
And we are incredibly skilled at ignoring the new discomfort we create in the process.
You see it in the way people stack daily habits all the time.
Oh yeah, like using heavy caffeine to fix a lack of sleep.
But the caffeine causes a jittery anxiety, so you use alcohol in the evening to fix the anxiety.
But the alcohol disrupts your REM cycle, so you wake up exhausted and need melatonin or a prescription sleep aid.
The melatonin leaves you groggy, requiring double the caffeine the next morning.
The trade-off isn't just in a pill bottle. It's a lifestyle architecture.
We become experts at managing the side effects of our own solutions,
rather than addressing the root cause of the problem.
which leaves us with one final, lingering thought for you to mull over today.
If our modern solutions, whether they are medical, technological, or just our daily habits, are so complex, so layered, that the whole thing's held by a warning patch,
What happens when we simply stop reading the small print?
at what point do we have to ask ourselves, are we actually treating the original problem anymore?
Or have we spent the last 10 years just flawlessly maintaining the side effects?
That is the exact question this audio piece wants echoing in your head long after it stops playing.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a heavy, thought-provoking journey.
It really has.
Keep questioning the loops in your own life, keep reading the small print, and as always, stay curious. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.